It's time to set sail on the Azurite seas. Is this the set where I win one? Oh, pretty please. I trigger our island and it looks like my time, but then Oswald flips a lucky dime.
Come on now, let's play some Lorcana. Just smash me fox into pirate Moana. We'll link in quest and never stop. Sing half the lumps like jumbo pops. A smorgasbord of lore, it's Lorcana. Hey everybody.
We're vibing, everybody.
We are straight up vibing.
Here at the Smorcana Cafe, I'm Brett.
I'm Katie.
We're feeling really chill.
We're just chilling right through January. A lot of people say that January is the longest month that's ever been. And I would agree that it's a very long month, but we've found our way by vibing through some old classic Disney movies.
We've just been rolling through Cinderella, through 101 Dalmatians.
The immaculate vibes of both of those movies in particular. My goodness. Those movies are like the equivalent of a hot cup of tea or like a fresh grilled cheese sandwich and some soup.
It's all about cheese with you right now.
It's all about the cheese.
Because you've been having some morning sickness, and when I say morning sickness, I mean morning, noon, and night sickness.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
And so cheese has been the thing that's stabilized your diet.
Cheese has always been great. Never said no to cheese in my life, so I'm pretty content in that way right now, for sure. How are you doing, Brett? Are you staying alive? I feel like there's a lot going on, and I get to eat the cheese, but I'm just making sure that you're doing okay, too.
I think my role in this is to make sure that you have the cheese you need.
Yeah, that's fair. You're doing a great job of that.
I'm the cheese supplier, the cheese man, the fromagiist.
The cheese man.
We also just watched Dream Productions.
Oh, yes, we did. It was so good. It was on Disney Plus. It's that new Pixar series that's based on Inside Out.
Where Inside Out is focused on the kind of control room for Riley's head and all of her emotions. Dream Productions is about the little beings that make Riley's dreams when she goes to sleep. And I had not known this was coming. I didn't know it existed, but it was really, really good. And it's like a single movie, basically.
Yeah, it's like a mini-series.
Yeah, it's comprised of 4 episodes. It lasts about 2 hours total. So it's a nice one evening kind of watch and a lot of fun. Highly recommend.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. We were surprisingly thrilled by it. So if you like Inside Out, or even if you don't love Inside Out, you might love this.
I said that I actually preferred this to Inside Out.
I can't wait for Inside Out to come to Lorcana.
Someday. What'd they say? Next year, right? 2026.
Yeah, baby.
What else is up, Katie?
Oh, so much is up. We have actually gotten a lot of tips in our tip-top jar.
Yeah, thank you so much to everybody who dunked a few dollars in the tip jar. It was really, really encouraging.
It's great to boost the morale. We spend a lot of time on this podcast every week, so to be able to recoup some of the, funds we've put into these nice microphones and the software and all the time that you spend editing the episode, it's really nice.
Yeah, it was super, super encouraging. We got lots of nice messages with the tips. And yeah, it's just nice to know that folks are really enjoying the podcast.
Indeed. Hey, we got to play some set champs this weekend, which was a victory indeed. Compared to last weekend where we didn't get to play any, we made it to one.
Yeah, you weren't sure if you were going to be able to stomach it, literally. And you had said that, you might have to make a quick exit at some point, but yeah, you made it through. It was a pretty fun time.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was so happy to be able to play at one. I was concerned because I have had some work conflicts with set champs, and I was concerned that I wasn't going to be able to make the ones that I could make because I wasn't feeling well. So we went to one that was only about 15 minutes away from us last night, and it was great.
We unfortunately got paired together in the first round.
I knew it was going to happen. I could tell it was going to happen. I read it from the stars in the sky. I said, we're definitely going to get paired up together. And we did.
First round. And what we always do is say we're just going to play it out and let the chips fall where they may. I won the dice roll. So I won games 1 and 3 and you won game 2. And it really came down to whoever was going first. They weren't really close games. It was just the dice roll.
It's the only fair way to do it. We never let the other person win. It just always feels yucky, and you don't end up feeling good about that win, even if your husband lets you win or your wife lets you win. It's not a good feeling. You come to play Lorcana where when we walk in those doors, we're just competitors like anybody else. So it was fun. I like playing against you too because it's like the opposite of socially draining. Like I don't have to think about that part of it. I can just play Lorcana and kind of warm up into it. So I thought it was great. We had fun.
And we have that rapport where we play really, really fast. For whatever reason, just because we play so often together, our games go super quickly. I think we finished our 3-game set with like 35 minutes left in the round.
Yeah, we had a lot of time to wander around and chat with other people and look at the store and such.
What were you playing, Katie?
I was playing Diggy Diggy Hole, which is Amber Steel. It's a fun deck. I had seen it a little bit at League and in our circuits that we had been playing in. I thought it seemed really fun. I really like Steel. I really like Amber. And it uses a lot of those cards that I wasn't seeing in other places in the meta at the time. So it was certainly more exciting to me than the good old Ruby Amethyst that I've been playing for a long time. I'm glad I chose it. It was really fun to play. I did wildly unwell with it. So, in that sense, I guess I didn't love the choice. But I don't want to blame it on the deck. It certainly was a result of not having enough time to practice and not feeling well enough to practice and really have my head in the game. But again, I was just so happy to be able to compete in a set champs. I finished 14th out of 16, so didn't do too well.
I noticed that you weren't playing up to your usual standard in our round. It's hard to concentrate, I think, when your body's not feeling great. You didn't have the experience with the deck for sure, but more than that, I think you just were unable to concentrate at the level that I've seen you concentrate at in the past. And I think that's very understandable.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult also, I guess, from a social standing as well, because, having a baby growing inside of you is a little bit stressful, and it's something that it's easy to not want to think about all the time, especially if you're trying to focus on a card game. And we have a lot of lovely friends and people that we hadn't seen who we were telling about having a baby and everything, like right before we started playing, and it was definitely on my mind, and we got a lot of really, really sweet comments and sweet advice, and that just kind of kept it on my mind the whole time and not feeling well. So I think I was definitely a little bit distracted for sure, but it was really fun. How did you do?
I had a great time. I narrowly made the top 8 to get a scar, but I loved my deck. I had a lot of fun with it.
What were you playing?
I was playing a Ruby Amber list with no Mufasa, so it was built around Maui, both Maui Shark and Maui Hero to All. It also had Maui's Fishhook, which was really fun because I used a full suite of Stitch Little Rockets, which is a card that I really, really like, and he was really, really good for me on the day. But being able to play the Stitch Little Rocket and then buff it with either the Amber Queen or with Maui's Fishhook was really, really cool and had a really fun surprise element. And then I could recur the Stitch with Perdita. And then it had a few other staples, like it obviously had the Mother Gothel Rapunzel combination with the Mulan that can shift as well and take advantage of the Fishhook. So just some really fun cards that I personally just enjoy a lot. I didn't have a ton of reps on the deck, but I was feeling good about what I've been able to do in set champs already. So just wanted to take something really fun and new. Had really, really close games. I lost one round to a really good player who exclusively plays Ruby Amethyst. We had a 3-game series. I was on the draw, and I lost one of the games at 19 lore, and he won by top decking a goat for his last point of lore. And he had inked 2 goats in the game already. So it was really, really close. It was a really tight game. I came very close to pulling that one out. I had another round where I just totally bricked. And it's hard to brick with that deck because I was only running 10 uninkables, but I still found a way to do it.
Yeah, you did.
So I had some close rounds, but I was able to do well enough to land a scar.
Yeah, you did. I'm really glad that one of us walked out with a scar. That's always a good sign of victory, that we got something out of the event together. What was really exciting, though, was we had a couple of pals make it into the top 4 yesterday. We had Archer and Laura both make it to the top 4, and Laura got top 2.
Yeah, Laura rocking a Mufasa list herself.
Laura's got a mat. Laura, as you may know from the lore of this podcast, is the owner of Diversions, our favorite game store ever. And I don't think she's gotten a map before, so it was really exciting. I'm so happy. She's a great player, and I'm glad that it all came together for her. While I didn't do as well as I wanted to do with my deck yesterday, I did get to chat with a lot of people about the meta right now, and we have voiced our salty opinions about the meta many times on this podcast. But down at the bottom tables yesterday, people were letting loose a little bit about just not enjoying the meta they were currently playing in. And it made me reflect a little bit about the fact that enjoying what you're playing and enjoying the cards that are in the meta is a pretty big factor to your success, right? These were really good card players that I was talking about. We all just happened to, not be doing great that day, and that is whatever it is, right? There's variance, there's all kinds of things that can affect that. But it made me realize that maybe sometimes a meta is just not meant for your playstyle. Maybe it just doesn't totally sync up with you. And I'm curious to hear from people who do enjoy this meta, because I haven't heard many positive things about it. We certainly don't have positive opinions about it, but it was interesting. It's something that's just kind of floating around in my head still from yesterday.
Yeah, I think the state of the meta is a little bit deceptive because you can look at the meta and say like, oh, all the ink colors are represented and there are so many different decks doing well, and you can kind of play your favorite deck and it'll be good enough to get you to the top cut. But in actuality, so many of the play styles of the decks are so similar. Like, fundamentally, Diggy Diggy Hole plays very, very similarly to most Amethyst Steel lists, which play very, very similarly to some of the fast Emerald Steel discard lists, which play very, very similarly to the new fast Sapphire Steel lists. The only deck that kind of has a wildly different play style that does pretty well in tournaments is Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah, I hate to admit that Sapphire could be the fresh breath of air that we might need in this meta, but I agree. I mean, I think we're locked into a Steel and locked into the same kind of play patterns in this meta for sure. And I'm sure that's an element to it too. I'm sure that's an element to not enjoying it. It's just being bored with what's happening right now. There were a lot of grumbles among everybody yesterday about, everybody's playing the same thing. Everybody's playing the same thing. We're all playing the same deck. Blah, blah, blah. And, to some degree, that's true, what you just said about the decks being pretty similar and playing out kind of the same way. Everything kind of feels like a mirror, and mirrors aren't that much fun to play against.
Yeah, you're either playing a Steel package with Calhouns and Smees and Strength of a Raging Fire, or you're playing an Amethyst package with the bounce cards and all of the card drawing 1-drops. And if you're not playing one of those two things, you're playing Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah. Or something crazy. Or you're playing like a Chippendale deck like you've been playing.
Right. You're trying to find some spice. That's kind of where I've been trying to live. It's just that, you're fighting a little bit of an uphill battle when you choose to do that. So just really in need of powerful new cards in the new set, in my opinion, to shake things up, to introduce new archetypes entirely. Or maybe we see some of the first bans in Lorcana or some kind of restriction on the most popular and powerful cards.
Yeah, it would certainly be interesting. It would certainly be a good shakeup. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty hungry.
You are. That's good. That's a good sign.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's head into the cafe.
Yeah, let's strike while the iron's hot with your the way your stomach's been. Wonder who's working tonight.
I don't know. It seems a little hectic in there.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Is that must be Melga?
Yes, it is me, Melga.
Oh, you look just like Helga.
Oh, I will tell my sister and she'll be very happy. I have for you special meal from across globe.
Ooh, what's that?
It's a marsupial. It is, meat.
Is it a kangaroo?
No, not kangaroo, but it's tasty. And it's in a burrito. Enjoy marsupial burrito.
A marsupial burrito?
That sounds like it's definitely kangaroo.
Not a kangaroo?
That's totally kangaroo.
I didn't know you could have kangaroo in the United States, though.
I don't think that you can.
Really?
Yeah, maybe that's why she's calling it a marsupial burrito.
Maybe they found a loophole to exploit.
Uh-oh. I don't see Francois here today, so maybe they're kind of living on the edge.
All this talk about whether or not this is kangaroo reminds me of some of the rule sharking that happened down under.
Oh, nice one.
So, The first ever Disney Lorcana Challenge held in Oceania occurred this past weekend.
How thrilling. Now, we know you have lived over there in Oceania before.
Mm-hmm. I've lived in Australia. I have had actual kangaroo meat. I had kangaroo tartare once upon a time.
Okay, how is it?
It was good. It tasted like beef, honestly.
Huh.
It was a lot like beef. I had a kangaroo tartare. It was mixed with macadamia nuts, and honestly, the macadamia nuts carried the dish, if I remember right. That gave it some texture because it was a tartare, and it gave it that kind of nutty, balanced through line.
Wow. How eloquent. What fancy kangaroo you have had. Did you have it on crackers?
If I remember right, it was served with a kind of crusty bread.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, it was delicious. Now, kangaroos are everywhere over there, so there's kangaroo meat in abundance if you're so inclined.
That makes sense. It's like their cow.
Yeah, it's more like their deer, I would say.
Oh, okay.
They're kind of everywhere, and cars will hit them and things. They'll cross the road. You have to watch out for kangaroos. There'll be road signs and things like that.
Yeah, that's pretty trippy.
Yeah. Anyway, in Melbourne this past weekend, the 500 or so players gathered there to compete in the Disney Lorcana Challenge.
Exciting. Cool to see a DLC somewhere else in the world. We love seeing that.
Lots of players traveled there from elsewhere. There were some Americans who made it over. Some folks from Europe made it over. Some big names traveling over there to try their hat and try to get a world's invite.
Pretty cool. Makes sense.
And in the top 8, something happened, Katie. Something that might disgruntle you.
Crikey. What could it be? Did somebody put their cards on the barbie?
There was a fellow who was engaging in rule sharking.
Oh, no.
No.
I can't do an Australian accent. I'm sorry.
The key is to just try to use every single vowel whenever you use any vowel. No.
Oh, no.
So in the top 8, let's lay this out here.
Yeah.
So
Tell us what happened.
This.
Give us the facts here.
Okay, here's the facts of the case. Top 8 match.
Yep.
So we've got Reclem, a French player,
Oui.
on Ruby Sapphire,
Ah, yes.
playing against Jesse Lentini, who is playing Emerald Amethyst.
Jesse is an Australian player?
Don't know. We know
Okay.
that Reclem is a French player of note who actually admitted to cheating in a past online tournament.
Dang.
Somebody who's done really well in a lot of tournaments, but also has this kind of checkered past, right?
Okay, interesting.
So this is the top 8. They've each won one game. The winner of this third game is going to win a golden Mickey, worth upwards of $10,000 US. So a lot at stake in this one game of Lorcana.
Big deal.
As we approach the mid-game here, things are pretty even. It's as you expect. Jesse's played out a bunch of one-drops and got some early lore, and Reclem is trying to stabilize the board.
Yep.
Reclem plays a Maui half-shark on the board and passes. Jesse quests with a magic broom, a luminary keeper, and notes his new lore total. Then he plays a goat, he gains 1 lore, and then motions to banish his magic broom. At this point, Reclem calls a judge. Why?
Yeah, exactly. Why?
So Reclem is saying that because his opponent, Jesse, never verbalized that he was putting the magic broom banishing to draw ability into the bag before he started resolving the goat's gaining of a lore, which also was in the bag,
Yes.
that he was unable to use the ability, that he missed the trigger.
Now that's crazy to me.
Yes.
Did he say that the goat was in the bag?
Nope.
So then why didn't this other player argue that he didn't say the goat was in the bag? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Why is
no.
he picking just the broom?
Has anybody ever said that they're putting the goat's ability into the bag?
No!
No, of course not. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's preposterous.
That's like not a thing you have to do in Lorcana.
Right. It's all happening at the same time. It's all part of the same window. It's not like another action was taken. It's just that Reclem was forcing his opponent to go through this hoop, to jump through this hoop.
That's so dumb.
Now, the Lorcana rules team, a couple of days prior to this, had made a note that they had needed to change something in the rules, and it is exactly this issue. In the rules, it says that you need to declare everything that enters into the bag before you start resolving all of the things in the bag.
What?
Yeah. Now, the Lorcana rules team has said that this is wrong, that they're looking to update this, but it hasn't been updated in the official rules yet.
Oh, I see. So wait a minute. This wasn't a rule they added 3 days before this. This is something that they said they're going to change 3 days before this.
Yeah.
So this has always been a rule.
It's always been a rule. Nobody has followed it because it doesn't make any sense. But
Sure.
presumably, what we can infer is that Reclem and some of his teammates saw this and then went into the tournament with the game plan to call their opponents on this very, very technical rule.
That is terrible.
This is called rule sharking. It has been around for quite a while, and it involves basically calling your opponent on really minor infractions down to the letter of the law in hopes of gaining a slight advantage in a game.
That is so smarmy. I hate that.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. I think everybody feels this way. I don't think there's a lot of dispute in the community about this. As it stands, though, Jesse was forced to leave his broom exerted, which allowed Reclem to challenge in with his Maui shark and recur actions and basically snowball the game from there. It left Jesse without a chance to win the game.
That is a literal nightmare.
Yep.
That's terrible.
Yep.
What a terrible win. Like, how does Reclem sleep at night? You know what I mean? Like,
Sleeping on top of $10,000, I guess.
yeah, but that's like a cartoon villain. Like, that's
Yeah.
terrible. Don't do that.
Yeah, I guess that's what your conscience is worth. Is
Yes.
the $10,000.
He has no Jiminy Cricket left in his brain. Jiminy Cricket saw that and was like, I'm out. I'm not your conscience anymore. See you later, bud.
So I think, the community is in agreement that this is terrible. We don't want it in the game and that it shouldn't have happened. But what this does call to mind is a need for the judge program to be solidified.
Yes, right.
If there are going to be these kinds of stakes at these big tournaments, there has to be a more codified way of becoming a certified judge. There need to be standards. There need to be protocols put in place so that this can't ever happen again. Also, just ethically, I can't stand that this happened.
That is not the vibe of Lorcana. Thank you very much.
I'm all for second chances in life. People make mistakes and do the wrong thing all the time. But, this is a hobby that we play for fun, and we just don't need that.
And this guy's had a second chance. This is his second chance.
Yep.
Like, dude.
Yep, it's a pattern at this point.
Well, hopefully justice will out.
Hopefully justice will out. So the moral of the story, don't be mean. Like, just be cool.
Yeah.
Be cool, and also we need judges. We need a real judge program. Are you still hungry?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Let's do it. Let's order a main dish here.
All right, good. I'm glad you still have an appetite. Let's see if I can flag somebody down. Oh, there's Geraldine.
Hi.
Hi, Geraldine. What's on the menu for tonight?
We have a lot of things on the menu. And it's just me and Melga today. So it was like a lot of things to have to cook. But I took a breath and I put it all together in like a gumbo.
Okay. You just kind of combined a bunch of ingredients into a gumbo?
Yeah. Do you want some?
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. Why not? You went through all the hard work.
Okay, here you go. It's like, it's pretty warm, so just like be careful. And then I put some bread on the side for you too. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Oh, this looks pretty good. It smells good.
Yeah.
It smells spicy.
Ooh, very varied. Look at all the different ingredients.
Whoa, look
It's
at
all
this.
of our favorite foods all mixed together.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of all of our favorite Smorkana episodes all mixed together. Wait a minute.
Kind of spurs me to want to do a retrospective.
What? Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-bam. A retrospective.
Retrospective. So after a year of episodes, we wanted to look back at some of the moments that we had a lot of fun with as we've recorded the podcast.
Yes, this is not yet our official 1-year anniversary date, but as Disney World itself does, we like to celebrate anniversaries for multiple episodes out here.
Yeah, our podcast launched on the 16th of February, which approaches rapidly. But for now, this is our 52nd episode.
Wow, that's a lot of sods and a lot of memories.
A ton of sods.
Yep, packed with sods. Brett, what are some of your favorites?
Well, it's fun to listen to our first episode because we didn't have good podcasting equipment yet. We just had like a regular old like $20 microphone to use for Zoom.
Yeah, we were sharing a microphone. We had the one microphone we were sharing.
Right, and so we sounded a little bit like this. We have a varied history. I think a couple of different angles, different approaches to the game that we'll be hopefully sharing with y'all across our weekly episodes.
And talking about snacks.
See, everything will be viewed through the lens of snack food. That might sound strange, but we just really love Lorcana and snacks.
And Disney snacks.
And so we think that there might be a Venn diagram of interests that might attract a demographic cornucopia of Lorcana enjoyers. I would say that I come through to Lorcana from a card gaming background, where Katie...
I come at Lorcana from a Disney background. We are married, so that already combines the Venn diagram of cards and Disney. Brett's love for card games has rubbed off on me.
And her love for Disney has definitely rubbed off on me. Of course, you always love board games and I always love Disney. It's just that those two passions have intensified in each other's company.
Indeed.
Why don't you talk a little bit about your history with Disney?
I'd love to. My real last name is Katie Disney.
It was a lot of fun trying to figure out how to make a snack/Lorcana podcast work.
We had wanted to make a podcast together for a long time, and we hadn't been able to find what the right subject was or what we were passionate about or what we would have fun with. And one morning you woke up and you said, Smorcana, and then there it was. So it's been really fun to watch that grow and change and come to life.
Any other early episodes stand out to you?
I always think back to the joy of deck building. That was our first really successful episode.
It was also the first time that we had a dedicated strategy segment, and it seemed to resonate. A little bit about deck building principles. Ratios is something that you always want to consider. Ratios are kind of what keeps everything in balance in a deck, right? You wouldn't want to make a dish with a mountain of salt and, a single bite of a protein and have it soaked in a whole bucket of lemon juice, right? You have to keep your acids and your salts and your fats in balance. Similarly, in deck building, you need to keep all of your ratios in balance. In Lorcana, what does that mean? Well, first, uninkables.
Yeah, how many of those do we want?
So there's no hard and fast answer for how many uninkables you want. There's no one number that's right for every single deck. For instance, if you don't have a high curve, you don't have a lot of expensive cards, then maybe you could afford to get away with a couple more uninkable cards, right? But we're just going to throw out a number here.
Sure.
As a basic guideline that's kind of in the neighborhood, in the ballpark of what you might want, right? It's, let's say 14.
Sounds like a good number to me.
14. You don't want to have more than 14 uninkables.
That's about a quarter of your deck.
Yeah.
Little less.
Yeah. And, I compare this to like eating your vegetables, right? Like you just need to have a certain amount of inkable cards in your deck if you're going to stay balanced and healthy, right?
Yeah.
That was our most popular episode for a couple of months after that.
Definitely. And kind of bouncing off of that success, we thought, okay, we have people's ears now. We then soon recorded the Magic Dactyl.
Yeah, we started to really lean into finding comedic segments around the Magic Dactyl episode.
And the Magic Dactyl was something that we wanted to actually tell people about. It was funny, but it also had been really kind of bothering us and something that we wanted to share with other Lorcana players.
Yeah, the Magic Dactyl was all about this phenomenon. Sometimes it's so hard to know how to say things.
Yep. Even words like chicken can abandon you mid-sentence.
So when you have all of these proper nouns all over Lorcana, and you haven't seen every single Disney movie, it can be really hard to know how to say anything at all.
How are you supposed to navigate all these games and all these names?
It can be overwhelming. I'm speaking, perhaps, to some of you Magic the Gathering converts out there.
Ah, MTG.
Some of y'all are showing your colors and your the fact that you haven't seen a Disney movie lately. And that's totally cool. Welcome to Lorcana. We're all under one big roof here.
Yes, and we've come up with a phrase, a term, I should say, for these magic pronunciations.
Yeah. There's a pattern that always gives away a Magic player to me. I call it the Magic Dactyl.
What's the magic dactyl?
So you know how you just did it.
What? I did it?
I did it. So a dactyl, for you poetry lovers, is a stressed syllable followed by 2 unstressed syllables. And I always have noticed over the years of being around card games that Magic players are unique in that they pronounce cards always in dactylic form. For instance, how would you say the name of the song that Scar sings to the hyenas in Lion King?
Be prepared.
Be prepared. And we have a card that shares that title.
Yes.
But if you come from Magic, you probably pronounce it be prepared.
Be prepared?
So there's this weird thing.
Or be prep.
Be prep, yeah. Oof. That one grinds your gears, huh?
That hurts.
But that's not specific to Magic. That's card game speak. It's gonna happen, right? But this Magic Dactyl, we get be prepared, Cinderella stout-hearted, a let it go, a Stitch little rocket,
Scrooge McDuck?
a Scrooge McDuck. His name's Scrooge McDuck.
There's no other card for another McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck?
A Scrooge McDuck?
And I think it's because, and this is no shade, I just think it's really funny to point out.
I don't think they probably don't even know they're doing it.
Right. I think it's because in Magic, there is no other media that is telling you how to say the name of a thing.
Right. Whereas these already exist in Disney movies and Disney lore. They're things already. People talk
Right.
about let it go.
Right.
So unlike in Magic where no one says that out loud, people say all the Disney things out loud.
Right. So it just became over the years this habitual pronunciation of every single card in dactylic form, the Magic Dactyl. We were really starting to hit our groove after a dozen or so episodes. And that's when we introduced one of the fan favorite characters and one that I have a lot of fun with. Off-meta Toby.
Toby.
He appeared in Eels, brah.
Oh, it's all about the eels, brah.
Toby came in hot. He had ideas like this.
Yeah, so, I'm just cooking up. I'm like, what won't people expect? I'm like, you know what? What about these eels, brah? These eels. Look at these eels.
Yeah.
There's a lot of eels in this game.
I guess there's 2 eels, right?
No, there's so many eels, brah. There's so many eels. Look at all of these eels. All right, so we've got about my buddy Float Sam and Jet Sam.
Yes, those are the 2 eels I was thinking of when you said
Flo
eels.
and Jet. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're so we got those. That we're gonna put them in there. If we're gonna do some eels.
Which ones?
All of the eels.
Oh, all of the flotsams and all
as
the jetsams.
many as possible.
Okay, cool.
And then you get your other eels in there. You got Sir Hiss. He's an eel.
Oh, yeah. He's a snake, so I guess he's an above water
he's
eel.
An eel. He's
Okay,
an eel.
yeah.
And then there's Madam Mim eel.
Madam Mim snake. Yeah.
No, that's an eel, bro. Look at that.
Okay,
That
sure.
is an eel.
Yeah, sure. I guess
All right,
she kind of
she's
is.
in there.
Yeah.
She's in there. That eel's in there. You got Pascal, little eel.
Okay.
Changes color.
Pascal's definitely not an eel. He's a chameleon.
A chameleon.
You said it, bro. You said
No,
it.
he's a
A
chameleon.
chameleon. It's an eel, bro. It's a color-changing eel. Then we've got the cursed merfolk, which, I'll
Not
grant you,
eels.
isn't a traditional eel, but it is like a ghost eel. It's surrounded by ghost eel, all those little ghost eels.
Yeah, I guess the shriveled up merfolk kind
Are
of looks
ghost
like
eels,
eels.
yeah.
Sure.
Now, then there's Ursula.
Oh, she's a squid, so it's similar to an eel.
No, she makes the eels.
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah.
I forgot she She's the creator of eels.
Yeah. So
Right.
there's the 2-cost Ursula who like protects all your eels from like stuff that would banish your eels. And then there's the singing eel Ursula who can make sure that you have lots of eels in the future. Like she like kind of procreates the eels.
Ew. What?
It's a good thing he's not here tonight because we'd blow up his ego. His ego would blow up if he knew we were talking about him so positively.
I'm sure he'll listen back to this episode and skip right ahead to where he is. He knows. He's got a sixth sense for these things. One of the episodes that we hear a lot about from listeners and from folks kind of colloquially is the card game superpowers episode. That was episode 18. It is something that I think has kind of caught on as an idea of understanding what your strengths are, right? It's a fun way of looking at what you're good at as a card player beyond just how many wins or losses you have.
A way that might positively frame your experience as a card gamer is to try to recognize and appreciate what your particular card gaming superpower might be.
Yeah, these can be things that maybe are just a characteristic of yourself anyways that come out strongly in card games. They're nice to kind of analyze on yourself and try to understand who you are as a gamer.
Yeah, I think that if you're ever feeling discouraged, then it might be useful to try to fall back on this and recognize what you are good at. Because even on a day where you are losing games of Lorcana, there are going to be positives to take away, and there are going to be things that you did well, even if you lost a game. And so we wanted to try to highlight that and maybe start a conversation about what your strengths might be when you play this game. Just after that episode, we were finally feeling confident enough to invite our first guest on.
Yeah, one of our favorite early Lorcana content creators, Lorcana Villain.
He came on and talked all about his passion for theater, something that we share with him, and his great success as a Lorcana caster. Yeah, I think that really resonates with your channel, that you're really passionate about what you're doing. That comes through constantly, and that's what I think makes people gravitate to your content for sure.
I think a lot of it is, and it sounds really cliche and cheesy, it's just about being comfortable in your own skin, because I wasn't for a lot of my life. I did a video a week or so back just talking about a whole bunch of stuff. I called it just Lorcana Villain Lore, and just kind of for newer viewers, like what my backstory is and all that sort of stuff. I said in that Lorcana Villain grew quickly as a channel, but I did not. Like, me as a person, it took me a long time to sort of find myself and feel comfortable with myself. And you could take it even deeper and sort of like forgive myself for, like, we all hang on to things of the past and like mistakes, regrets, things like that. And like, it took a long time for me to feel like I like myself as a person and that I'm confident being me, and that just accepting that you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But for me, it definitely took a lot of growing up and a lot of time to reach that point where I'm just like, okay, this is me. And if you're coming along for the ride, great. I still cringe at myself when I edit myself, don't get me wrong.
That was a whole lot of fun.
We've yet to meet Baker in real life, but that's certainly on our Lorcana DLC, Lorcana adventuring bucket list for sure.
The most fun we've ever had recording, I think, was episode 26, when we talked about how to count lore.
Just so that you know, I'm going to be counting lore from clapping today. I will say, listener, yesterday when Brett and I were paired up against each other, this was one of the first thoughts I had, was maybe I should use one of these strategies to count my lore today.
We had a whole top 10 list of different methods. They started out somewhat reasonable and devolved quickly, and we could not keep it together.
No, we definitely could not.
There any more utensils in here? What's next? Oh.
Yeah, we've got 10 total. This is the top 10
All
list,
right,
don't
well,
forget.
What's number 4?
Claps.
Claps? What are those?
Yeah, clapping.
Clapping like with your hands.
Yeah, guess how many lore I have?
3?
3. Exactly. So it's not a lot of people use it. So at the beginning of the game, you just tell your opponent, I'm going to be using claps to count my lore today.
Okay, and what would that entail?
It's, you gain 1, gain 2, etc. And as a courtesy at the end of the round, you could...
Wait, you just clapped... You clapped 3 times after you said gain 2.
Right, because then you would have 3.
Okay, so every time your lore total changes, you clap for the number of lore that you have.
Right. So if I was already at 7, let's say,
Yep.
and I quested for 2,
Yep.
I would be at...
That was 10.
No, obviously 10. Yeah, it's super easy once you get used to it. And as long as you have that moment with your opponent at the beginning and you say, are you comfortable with me using claps today? And they'll probably be fine. I mean, I haven't encountered anybody yet who has said they're not comfortable with it. But.
It's very clear. And also you can give it some style, like some pizzazz. You can do it in character. You can do it like flamenco claps, golf claps. You can find your own kind of personal way to count with claps.
Yeah, I mean, read the room, see what kind of a clap is appropriate. But sure, I mean, At home, we
really go for it at
crazy.
home.
Yeah.
And then it can be like asserting your dominance too with
definitely,
the claps, which
sure.
is cool.
Yeah, so that's number 4.
Okay.
What do you have for number 5?
In a similar vein, it's kind of an audio feedback type of lore tracking. It's air horn blasts.
Katie, remember the time that goats invaded the recording studio here?
Remember? I think that was another episode where we really got ourselves really good with that joke. We still talk about it. We still laugh about it.
I think we need to put a lock on the recording studio.
I don't know how they got in there.
This is getting out of hand.
The goats won't stop singing.
They just won't stop.
They come into play, they get their lore, and they just sing and sing and sing and sing.
Curse them.
They keep singing, "You're welcome" now. That's their new one.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much to take. We have a real problem on our hands.
It was bad enough when they were singing "Be King Undisputed" over and over and over again, But now it's "You're welcome."
Awful.
In goat song.
I know.
Just reverberating wherever we go. I'm still laughing about episode 31, also the Cornborn episode.
I'm not even laughing about Cornborn. I just can't wait for it to hit the shelves.
Someday, there have been some delays, but we know that Cornborn approaches. Rise of the Cornborn.
I think Farmer Jimmy explained this best.
Hey, Superfan Jimmy, why don't you come join us?
Oh, hey, guys.
Hey, is this all from you?
You know what? It's all from me. I really can't resist spreading my favorite food wherever I can. Corn. Where you find corn, you find me.
And, it's so fortuitous to see you here tonight because I understand that you have a special part to play in the next Lorcana expansion, that you did some work on it. Can you tell us about that?
That's right, yes. So I am a lifelong agricultural fanatic. It runs in my family all the way through, 4 or 5 generations. So that has been my passion throughout life. However, I've been blessed with uncanny ability to design many different games. And so I have begrudgingly at times consulted over the past decade on various different board games, card games, and I was very lucky to be able to be consulted on the next set for Lorcana. Growth of the Cornborn.
Wow.
That's the first we're hearing of this name. Wow. Can you give us a little elevator pitch? What is this going to be all about?
So Growth of the Cornborn, probably not unexpected for fans of both Disney and of corn. This was a natural marriage. When I was approached, it made total sense to me. Corn is in many ways the Disney of agriculture.
Wow, I've never heard it put so succinctly, but, I think you're right. When you think about the pervasiveness in our culture, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's so true. When you think about seasonal favorites like corn mazes, but then also you find corn in almost everything you eat with high fructose corn syrup or things like corn on the cob, canned corn. It's really everywhere.
Now, this is really interesting. For the corn ignorant, can we talk about this? I'm a little bit embarrassed, actually. Could you tell us what corn is?
Of course. I never pass up a chance to talk about the really impressive history of corn. Corn goes back arguably as far as any food, and is a unique grain in that it is produced by weight more than anything on the planet today. And also, if you go back in Mesoamerican history, was actually deified, which again, anyone who has eaten corn, they can completely understand why.
Another highlight of the year for me was the third edition of the S'more Awards for Shimmering Skies, when we got a whole bunch of fellow content creators involved and asked them to help present.
It was a really fun way to feel like the Lorcana world and the Lorcana community is not as far away as they may be geographically. It was really fun to get to share our episode with so many content creators that we really admire and have so much fun with, and it's certainly something that we're looking forward to doing again in the future.
Hey Lorcana fans, I'm Liam from the Illumineers.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, aka Ellie.
And I'm Waylon from Sprinkle of Ink.
Howdy folks, Rudros here from the Rudros TCG YouTube channel.
What's up Illumineers, it's Mateus and Charlie from Inkborn Heroes, and we could not be more excited to be here to present to you the winner of the Golden S'more Award for the best combo card.
I am Lycos14 from the Sunflower Lumineers.
Hey Lumineers, it's Rebecca Quests here, and what a night!
Good evening everyone, my name is Chris.
And my name is Savvy.
We are from the Uninkable podcast.
Hello Lumineers, my name is Dick Burns from the Forbidden Mountain and Lore Chronicles.
Hello my fellow Illumineers, I am RMB, aka Senior Bald, from Labyrinth TCG and one half of the Lab Rats.
Hello, I'm Chris, aka Questing for Lore, from Lorcana Chats.
Hello, I'm Sarah, the Lorcana Librarian from the Lore Library podcast and from Team Labyrinth. And this award goes to the card that's as refreshing as a Dole Whip float on a long park day. Pete, Games Referee.
What a year it's been. Lots of varied content, lots of trips, lots of tournaments, lots of fun segments, lots of strategic segments, and a whole lot more on the horizon.
Yeah, just going through and making this highlight list with you was really fun to go back and listen to those snippets of episodes and think about how far we've come and reminisce on some really great content we've made. It was a really fun time.
Yeah, let's pat ourselves on the back.
Of course we should. It's our anniversary. Excuse me, guys?
Hey, yeah.
This was just, delivered for you.
Thanks, Geraldine. Who's this from?
I don't know. They just left it at the front for you. Okay, is that all right?
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
What is this?
I don't know. So listeners, we had a large box just dropped off at our table. It is covered in polka dot wrapping paper, and there's a yellow envelope on top. We actually have no idea what this is.
Yes, in all honesty, we really don't know what's in this box or this envelope.
We're opening it live right now as we record and have no idea what to expect.
Okay, let's open the envelope first.
Okay, go ahead.
Looks like a card of some kind. Oh, there's a Mickey on it.
Ooh, a Mickey Mouse card. Oh!
He's holding a
balloon.
balloon.
A one balloon. Oh! It says, how did you do it? In just one quick year, you learned to make everyone smile ear to ear. And now it's your birthday, so turn on your smile, be happy and celebrate 1 year old style. Happy first birthday. And it says, cheers to another year of the #1 rated Disney/Lorcana/snack podcast. Hope you enjoy some of our favorite snacks from your metamates.
Oh my goodness.
And look at that. In the card, there is a custom tragic hero enchanted and a custom Mufasa betrayed leader enchanted.
Wow.
From our pal Seth. That's so nice. And
those are gorgeous. We're going to have to put those on the gram.
And a Diversions gift card.
Oh my gosh, a Diversions gift card, our favorite place.
So cool.
That is so sweet.
And then there's a gigantic box of presumably
huge box.
snacks.
Wow, we need scissors to open this box. Our lovely metamates here were not joking about these being very important snacks. Oh Oh my god. This is so cute.
This is the cutest thing.
Oh my god, I'm dead.
This is so cool.
What? This is so great.
And these are all labeled with whose favorite snacks they are. So we've got
This is the
waffles
cutest thing.
from
Okay.
Jimmy.
So, listener, we opened this box, and inside there are a bunch of snacks, and they're all labeled. Well, each snack is labeled differently with someone's name, and they're all the people that we play Lorcana with all the time.
Oh, we've got fudge wafers from Rob Keebler. Those are delicious.
Oh,
These
yes.
are good. This is good stuff here. We've got Haribo gummy bears from Laura, circus peanuts from Rob.
Nice. I love circus peanuts.
We've got Reese's sticks from Archer. And that's cool because in Seattle, we kind of bonded over how good Reese's sticks were.
Yeah.
We were super hungry and we were all engaging in some Reese's stick goodness.
Wow. We've got some corn nuts here from Jeff.
Swedish fish from Michael.
Ooh, Johnny's got some mounds in here.
Oh, peanut M&Ms from Sam. These are all excellent choices.
Yes, these are fantastic.
Jeff
Really loves corn nuts. Jeff doubled up on the corn
double
nuts
corn
here.
nuts from Jeff.
Alex gave us some flips, some of those milk chocolate pretzels.
And Lil Tony also likes flips.
Oh, thank goodness.
Love flips. Pete gave us some popcorners.
Oh, nice. I love
Kettle
popcorners.
corn. Yeah, those are delicious too.
Yeah. Seth's got some Reese's peanut butter cups in here.
Classic. Jess gave us, oh my goodness, straight from Goofy's Confectionery Company. We've got Disney gummy characters and some Powerline taffy.
Whoa.
Legit.
Straight from Disney World.
So good.
Molly got us some popcorners as well.
And Tanya gave us Nutella sticks. Ooh, salty and sweet goodness. Holy cow. A gigantic box of delicious snacks from our pals at Diversions.
That is so, so, so nice.
And
Wow.
perfect timing for dessert.
I know. How great is this?
We could have opened this for the appetizer and it wouldn't have made nearly as much sense, but we happened to do it for dessert.
This was so nice. We have said it many times on the podcast, but we count ourselves incredibly lucky to get to play with all these wonderful people that we get to see pretty often and play some really fun Lorcana cards with. We are very, very, very lucky today.
Well, what do you think, Katie? Do you want to dive into that box of snacks right now, or do you want to save them for later?
I want to dive into them right now, but we should be classy here and have a mint at the end of our meal.
Okay, sounds fair. I happen to have concocted a cool little mint, if I do say so myself.
Ooh.
Here we have a Sapphire Dream card.
Oh boy, what have you cooked up for us today, Brett?
This is Fenton Crackshell, Earnest Scientist. A 4-cost inkable character with 3 strength, 3 willpower. He is a storyborn hero inventor, and he quests for 1. He has 2 abilities, and they're a little bit more complicated than some of the abilities that we've seen on characters in Lorcana.
Well, he's a complicated character.
He is, a lot going on. Fenton is, of course, the plainclothes persona of Gizmo Duck, the duck behind Gizmo Duck.
Indeed, from DuckTales.
So he's got 2 abilities here, Katie. The first is So Many Ideas. It says, when you play this character and whenever he quests, you may play the top card of your deck face down for free and put 1 damage counter on it. While in play, that card is an item with cost 1 and no additional text. Then there's the second ability, Blathering Blatherskite. Banish 1 of your items to give this character resist +2 and challenger +2 this turn. So you can use your items inventively to turn Fenton into Gizmo Duck to give him that resist and challenger, to give him his suit of armor.
Wow, and it should be said here that this is a legendary card.
Absolutely, and rightfully so. So that first ability, there's a lot going on there, right? Because this is what in other games is called a token ability, but I wanted to try to make it work in Lorcana terms.
I think it's exciting and it's new, and items are so often used in Sapphire decks, so it's nothing new mechanics-wise, but it's everything new mechanics-wise, I guess. We haven't had anything that interacts like this in Lorcana before, and I think that really speaks to what a great inventor Fenton is.
Yeah, now in other games, this would probably just get called an item token. Like you get to put an item token into play and it counts as an item. Now, there's nothing like that in Lorcana, and the downsides of using the token terminology is it relies on rules from outside of the game. Like if you don't read the rule set, you might not understand what it does. So the gist of it is that you get to take the top card and turn it into an item for the purposes of being an item and for no other purpose, right? Like it doesn't matter what the item quote unquote does. It's just another item for Tamatoa or something to banish with Hiram or to feed Launch even. Or the new beast. It might make it easier to trigger that new beast. So it's just a way to put extra items into play. Now, the reason you put the damage counter on it is just to help signify that it is not an ink.
Right.
You put that one damage on it. You remember then that, oh yeah, this is the item, not an ink, and it costs 1.
Yes, otherwise that could get pretty sloppy pretty quickly.
And then as soon as that card leaves play, it is no longer the item with no additional text. It is the whatever card it was before it became an item. So Fenton's very inventive, right? He finds ways to scrounge for the parts he needs, and then he uses those parts to build his suit.
I love this card. I have often poo-pooed Sapphire on this podcast, but this is something that's pretty exciting and might actually make me turn the tide here.
I would love to see abilities like this. I would love to see, a proliferation of items across the board. It would be really fun. There are so many things that key off of them, so why not go a little crazy with it? Let's get lots and lots of items into play. I'm also really excited because Fenton Crackshell is voiced by somebody very cool in the new DuckTales.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Being theater aficionados, we love Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes, of Hamilton fame, of Moana fame, of Encanto fame.
Of Mary Poppins Returns fame.
Of he can do literally anything and do no wrong fame.
Shout out to In the Heights, an amazing play and a really underrated movie that was made a couple years ago by the director of Wicked. So if you like Lin-Manuel Miranda and you liked Wicked, go watch In the Heights because you will really like it. It's amazing.
Yeah, a real good time.
Mr. Miranda does an amazing job voicing Fenton in DuckTales. Makes it a really fun character. Makes him come alive. It's really vivacious, really interesting character traits. I love this character and would love to see him represented in Lorcana.
This was a delicious mint. Let's get into these snacks we got. Hey, Brett. What's coming up next on some Lorcana?
It's going to be our Valentine's Day episode.
Ooh, romantic.
Our most romantic episode yet.
Ah.
We're going to go over some of the best card pairings in Lorcana.
We love a good themed episode, and this one will certainly be lovely.
If you enjoyed this episode, please do follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. You can also email us at smorcana@gmail.com and drop a tip in our tip jar at tiptopjar.com/smorcana. All of those are linked in the show notes.
And until next time, everybody, keep on snacking.
We're not going to have any trouble snacking with this gigantic box of snacks over here.
I know. Which one of these ones should we eat first?
A little bit of everything.
Ooh.
Nom 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 nom.